Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
I think it's critically important as you consider how you're going to approach moving forward, that you take advice like Simon Sinek's with a grain of salt. Simon Sinek, for the self-improvement junkies out there like me, wrote a book called Start With Why. The idea being that if you have a strong reason for what you do, you should find it easier to lead. It'll streamline interactions with others, and really provide the emotional fuel that you're going to need to move the ball forward. One of the perils of that approach is inherently it is externally focused. You are starting with why in a way to communicate that in a meaningful way, when in fact I think for a lot of folks, particularly if you're early in your sort of personal development, you'll find that a lot of the behaviors you pursue, the why of those behaviors is somewhat pathological. And what I mean by that is your reason for doing a lot of things are external validation or approval, or for the feel-good dopamine hit when somebody tells you you're, good at X, Y, or Z. If you understand this and know that this is an issue, then you can really approach the world from a more honest place, as it were. Those behaviors, when they are coming from that, I want to say lower order why, that personal sort of right to exist place, that reality shapes all of your everything, how you show up in the world, what you do, how you do it, where you do it, why you do it. So much so that any why that you're going to create about how you interact with the outside world, any of your mission and purpose and the temple in the context of the Masonic symbols, any of that stuff is all going to be seasoned by those personal approaches that, again, aren't coming necessarily from the best place. So if you can become the source of your own approval, for example, or the source of your own validation, when you do then go out into the world, in many ways, your approach to the world is a lot more resilient. You're not changing and flip-flopping and moving the ball, as it were, when it comes to the why you're doing what you do, or even the how you do what you do. So the Masonic symbols and all of the work we do in Freemasonry, or that's available to us in Freemasonry, I wouldn't suggest we all do it, but the work that's available to us in Freemasonry is to open those doors and start to really evaluate the causes of your own behavior. When you do that, when you start down that path, it's going to be fraught with all sorts of discomforts and realities and things that you may not want to necessarily look at. But that suffering that you're going to have, again, is short term, and the upside potential is infinite. So as you go through this process, before you work on your place in the world and how you're going to manifest that reality, start first with analyzing your own behavior and determine if the things you're doing are coming from a place that uses external validation, from feedback from others, from your parents, from any of your romantic partners, whatever. If you are, again, looking for that approval to solve the problem of your own self-worth, nothing you make from that position is going to be as strong as if you solve that problem first and then make the good stuff after.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.